Hello and welcome to Views on News. I am Jawad. The entire nation is celebrating 148th birth anniversary of the father of the nation, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. The day dawned with the gun salutes both at the federal and the provincial capitals. There was a change of guard ceremony also at the mausoleum of the Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. President Asif Ali Zardari on this occasion has said, let me quote him, "On this day, we honor the contributions of the father of the nation who changed the course of history through a political struggle," unquote. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in a statement has said that we quote him as well. "Today we are reminded of his extraordinary vision, unwavering courage and unparalleled determination. He achieved what many thought impossible and gifted us our homeland, Pakistan," unquote. Likewise, Inter-Services Public Relations in a statement says the armed forces pay profound homage to the father of the nation, unquote. This episode of Views on News is specially dedicated to that particular vision, the unwavering determination of the great Quaid, and especially will try to understand his position, his vision regarding as to the potential he saw in the youth of the country, and also his vision regarding the minority rights and equality. For that, we are honored to be joined in the studio where Mr. Malik Mial, he's an educationist. Mr. Mial, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Mr. Mial, let's talk about the leadership of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, his persona, the personality, the leadership that he had within himself. How bigger an impetus that very persona of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah gave to that Pakistan movement that ultimately led us to achieve this great homeland?
Well, thank you very much, Tehami sir. I'll just start off with Stanley Wolpert, the biography of Jinnah of Pakistan, where he said that few individuals significantly altered his course of the history. Few will still modify the map of the world, and hardly anyone can be credited for creating a nation. And Jinnah did all three. So when we just look at this phenomena, we could see the way he just contributes in this massively, and the way he looks at the different aspects of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So like when we start off at a very young age, we could see like number one aspect is his highly intellectual aspect of his personality because of the best education which he just got. And in a very young age, when he came back, when he saw that Muslim Ummah, they were like suffering at that time, they were like in all aspects. So as a leader, I mean, he just took over as the way we just look at these leaders, the way a chess player plays a chess. On that specific again, Quaid-e-Azam, he set his vision and he started just working on every aspect of the strata of the society just to galvanize their effort. For example, how did he just push the youth, and how did he just get connected with them just to contribute massively to carry on with the struggle and to carry on with the message of Quaid like in every home and all that. And secondly, he also impacted massively to the females as well. Initially, obviously, it was very difficult for them just to come out, but at the same time, with the help of his sister, he started just working on that, and it really impacted massively, and they also joined Quaid's struggle and all that. And when we just look at Quaid's vision, what he saw there, like the way Muslims were suffering, and they were having this sheer poverty, and nobody was just there to properly steer this ship of there was a huge nation. They were just waiting for someone. People were just making struggle in different different leaders were there. They were just making a lot many struggle. But the way Quaid steered this ship, that was amazing. I really appreciate that.
Let me bring in Professor Dr. Zia Ul Haq into the discussion also. He is Director General of Islamic Research Institute, International Islamic University in Islamabad. Dr. Zia Ul Haq, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Let's talk about that very personality, the traits of that very personality of the great Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah that gave the impetus to that very movement for a separate homeland for the Muslims subcontinent. What were those major traits that actually led to fulfillment of this particular dream?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I would like to congratulate the whole nation. This is a wonderful day of Pakistan's history, and we are celebrating today the birthday of Qaid. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Qaid-e-Azam and founder of Pakistan, has contributed a lot, not only in creation of Pakistan, but also in advancing positive and successful democratic politics in subcontinent. He was a wonderful person, as my colleague has already pointed out. He was well qualified. He has been educated in renowned educational institutions. He established his reputation as a professional lawyer at very early age, and he was famous among the judges for his thoughtful insight in preparation of the cases. He has command on the history of Muslims and on the history of subcontinent. He has the understanding how to change differences into diversity, and he has the capabilities to make an inclusive Islamic but democratic Pakistan. So there's no doubt that the Pakistan was mainly created to protect the rights of the Muslims, but not only the rights of the Muslims. It was actually created to protect the rights of the Muslims and other non-Muslim communities which are in the minority. And it was the Qaid's leadership which has the capacity to unite all these groups. Among the Muslims, we find different segments of the society. We find their religious leaders, we find their landlords, we find their technocrats, we find their professionals, we find their female, we find their students, and all these segments of the society, they were united under the leadership of Qaid-e-Azam. If there was even a minor defect in his ability, in his leadership, in his personality, the people would have not gathered around him. So it was clear for everyone who was struggling for the creation of Pakistan that their leader is a great person. Their leader is same leader in his public and private life. He has integrity, he has commitment with the motherland, and he has commitment with the rights of the people. His struggle is totally peaceful and democratic, and it was his vision that has created a modern Islamic Republic of Pakistan. That is a Islamic country, but it is a positive country, and it has been created through a lawful movement. It has not come, the creation of Pakistan and the division of India, it is not the result of any clashes or any bloodshed. The bloodshed is actually after the creation of Pakistan and due to some unjust decisions by the boundary commissions. Otherwise, there had not been this bloodshed, and the creation of Pakistan would have been as peaceful as the Pakistani movement was.
Let me bring in Professor Dr. M.Javed Akhtar, is the Chairman, Department of Pakistan Studies at Bahauddin Zakaria University. Dr. Akhtar, thank you very much for your time, for joining us at Views on News tonight. We really appreciate that. As per your understanding, what were those qualities which differentiated Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah as a leader as compared to the leaders of that particular time?
Thank you very much for giving me such kind of opportunity to express some concerns in relation to the personality of Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and as well as the challenges that we are now facing in this country. How that person has some kind of approach for which he has created this homeland. I would like to say some kind of references of the history, whereby, first of all, when he has been the part of some kind of modern paraphernalia by acquiring the modern education and as well as by coming back to India after acquiring that education, he tried to adjust with that particular environment of India, whereby first as a professional person, how to implement the knowledge which he has acquired in the context of the modernity. And as well as parallel to him, there were some of the other persons who were also going to execute some kind of that modern education in the context of India. So one of the references that the modern education imbibed some kind of the values. One of that, democracy. Second is the liberalism. Third is the utility. And all these things going to constitute the one of the major person. That was the commitment. And how to execute that commitment into that level, whereby the people will be able to understand not only that commitment, but as well as ready to follow that commitment. And Kaj showed in his behavior. And personally, I would like to say that some of the examples which might be related to that particular aspect of the life of the Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, that when he has been given the title of the Hindu-Muslim unity, it was a very good time at that, when he has been entered into that pact with the Congress after joining the Muslim League, that basically the reference given by the Gokhale. Once he and the Gokhale went to England, sailed to England in 1930 after, that during that traveling, they come close to each other. And there was the difference of 10 years of age in between these two persons. Gokhale was at that time 46 and 47, and Quaid-e-Azam was at that moment 36 and 37. And the exchange of ideas, giving some kinds of impression to Gokhale that Quaid-e-Azam is a person who is very much commanding the integrity in relation to the profession and in relation to the politics, because he has joined the politics in 1906. And in onward, he has carrying the same kind of the stuff with the other leaders, particularly the Gokhale, because Gokhale was awarded the title of the companion of the British Empire in 1904, I think so, when he has joined the politics in 1902. But the Gokhale was the person who said that about the Quaid-e-Azam, that I had never seen the person who has such kind of stuff. The stuff means the integrity. Stuff means the professionalism. Stuff means the honesty. Stuff means to carry the discipline into the life. These were the things, these were the personality traits which the Quaid carried. And therefore he said at the moment of 1969 and onward that he is the ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity. And later on Sarojini Naidu endorsed such kind of things. And I think so, that the Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and afterward, he has given some kinds of the things to the youngest ones also. He was going to have some kind of banters, Dadabhai Naoroji. And Dadabhai Naoroji, when he has been the part of the British context, when he was there, he learned a lot of things from the Dadabhai Naoroji. Dadabhai Naoroji was the part of the British House of Commons. And he has delivered some kind of speeches about that, what kind of the political system British want to have in the colonies. Where that Dadabhai Naoroji said that we want to have the similar status as you have awarding to others colonies. Likely to be at that time there was a movement, and later on that was culminated into the dominion given to some Australia, New Zealand and other ones. So that's why the discussion which we have in the context of the India after 1920, responsible government, dominion status, and the more and more the participation of the people. So that's why the ideas which have been given to the Quaid-e-Azam by Dadabhai Naoroji. And the similar the companions, when he have met with the father of the Jawaharlal Nehru, when he met with Gandhi after 1915, when he met the Tilak Gangadhar Tilak, when he met the Gokhale, when they met the Sarojini Naidu, Annie Besant, and so many others. All were going to have one of the thing about the Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, that we have seen such a finest person, not only in his apparently attire, but as well as the ideas which he has, the refinest of the ideas which he has given to the India, likely to be.
Dr. Akhtar, that acknowledged what the Quaid carried within himself. I'll come back to you, Dr. Akhtar. Please stay with us. Mr. Mial, when we talk about that motto, unity, faith, and discipline, the kind of challenges at this particular point in time our country is faced with, how crucial and important it is to inculcate all those three very tenets of that particular motto of the Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah in order to steer down that very path of challenges?
That's a very good question. The beauty of Qaid's leadership is that still, after so many years, Qaid is relevant even today. So he can be a very good beacon of light for us. If we follow all those, for example, right now, all the challenges, issues we are facing right now in our country. So number one is if we could just bring once again the level of the unity which Qaid just developed at that specific time. After like 1936, 1937 election, when he came to know that now, I mean, the way Hindus are cheating us and the way they have got nefarious things in their mind, which they will implement later. Right now, they're there to hoodwink Muslim. Because Qaid was working like with both Congress and Muslim League, but after these 1913 election, he came to know very clearly that no, we cannot go on with this sin, and then he just went for a very, very clear. And at that time, he started thinking very seriously, and he started working on this aspect just to bring people together. And we see at the end of the day, whatever he just imagined, whatever the vision he developed, he just brought all the people together, and we could see that the stress behind this aspect. And then faith in his own personal life. That is amazing. We could see there are so many examples, statements, scenarios where we see, for example, first of all, as Dr. Zia has said, and Dr. Javed Akhtar has also clearly mentioned many aspects of it. For example, number one is own character. That was one of the best elements among his colleagues, especially people who are just coming from this law side. The way he just developed or established himself as a dead honest guy, even people who were from the opponent groups, they never question about Qaid's integrity and all that. For example, and he had got such an acumen, which he portrayed on various occasions, and he did change the course of action there and then. For example, there was a very famous case where there was a very famous lawyer, Tejapal. He was having a case somewhere, and Muslim leaders, they came and they requested Qaid just to come and fight the case on behalf of them. So that was such an amazing scenario where Tejapal comes with all that pump and show, bringing all like books and books together. He enters in the courtroom, and everyone is just looking, and everyone is flabbergasted. Wow, that's it. And second, the timing. Qaid, I mean, shares many aspects of his working. Number one was time management was amazing. The way Qaid enters exactly 2 or 3 minutes before, that was a wonderful thing. And second thing, Qaid was not carrying even a single book with him. And the best thing is that case remained in the process for 3 consecutive days. And Tejapal kept arguing for 3 consecutive days. And Qaid used to look off and on Tejapal. On certain arguments, he would simply smile and all that. When after 3 days, when it was his turn, the beauty was that everybody was expecting that now Qaid is going to argue and all that. He just came up with a simple statement, and he said that, look, he said to that judge, actually this case does not fall into your jurisdiction. He took that book before the judge, he went through that, and he said, I accept. That was the beauty of the Qaid. I mean, this is the second aspect we could see that, I mean, we have got such a leader who could just shatter things there and then because of his intellect, because of his understanding, because of his very, very sharp acumen and intellect. And discipline-wise, we could see from a lot many processions, from a lot many speeches, on a lot many occasions. Whatever Qaid imagined in his mind, just to carry on certain things, in terms of like taking care of the minorities and all that, And if anyone violated, believe me, Qaid there and then reprimanded that, come on, this is not my aspect. So this is one another aspect. Now, when we just look at the current scenario, there are many challenges, there are many aspects. So if we could just work on, we have got critical leaders, we got like every strata of the society, if we could just get that kind of visionary aspect, or we can just get these descent and we can just revive them, I think we will be able to progress and prosper like anything.
Right. Dr. Zia Ul Haq, you already in your first take talked about that the great Qaid actually provided that very that unifying force among the various segments within the Muslim society. I want you to elaborate on the other aspects of that particular motto, faith and discipline. But right after I take the view from Dr. Shoaib Ahmed, he's an educationist. He has just joined it on the phone line. Dr. Shoaib Ahmed, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Dr. Ahmed, I would want you to elaborate on that particular critical moment when Qaid thought that the Congress couldn't actually fulfill those aspirations of the Muslims of the subcontinent, when that particular deviation in his understanding from faith in Congress towards the Muslim League happened. What was that critical moment?
Thank you very much for having me with you. This is very important, and at that day when we are celebrating Qaid's birthday, it is very, very important to understand what was his message, and particularly if he was known as the ambassador of Muslim Hindu unity at one time, so why he was deviated from there. See, if you just look at the whole journey of Qaid, there are 2-3 very important milestones which really needs to be discussed, and for our generation, for our new generation, they must knew that why this was happened. A person who was known as the ambassador of Muslim Hindu unity, he was just completely turned his all forces from the Hindu side. There was a very important incident which took place during the non-cooperative movement in India, and he was the only person who at that time disagreed with the proposal of Gandhi, and that was the important time when the rings were, the bells were rung at that time. And then if we just look at the time when the Congress ministries came into power and the way they governed on this subcontinent, and then the time when time reached, then when Qaid asked his nation to offer the day of deliverance, that was the critical moment that when Jinnah decided that no, there will be no more compromises. There will be no more earlier the kind of different proposals were coming from the British Empire. He said these were the sleeping pills. So now this is the time that we should focus on our strategy. And the most important thing which we are missing at the moment, if we just wanted to learn something from the life of our great leader, his strategy was based on to sit in front of his enemy, his worst enemy, and reconcile with it. This reconciliation strategy, I must say, we are badly missing in our system, and this is probably one of the issues which sometimes which put us into a tunnel where we could hardly see the other, you can say, side. If we just learn one thing from the life of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, that even in the worst circumstances, he has not closed down his doors. If you just look at the beauty of his whole effort, and he was probably the only constitutional man in the world history where he always act according to the lines of constitutional. This whole approach, we want. We do not at that time we couldn't part of war or something like that. We were not having the large forces, but we got the country. How we are missing this important component, and that component was his constitutional approach to remain within the limits of law and to ask his worst opponent to sit in front of him and talk. When you close down your doors to your enemy and when you are not providing them any opportunity to talk, there will be no solution to any problem. This is what I have learned from
This actually is the manifestation of that very intrinsic trait of flexibility in that very leader, the great Qaid. And when we talk about the unwavering determination that he carried with himself that gave the impetus to the Pakistan movement, how do you compare the two? The flexibility, the reconciliation on one side, and that unwavering determination for a cause. How do you compare the two of them?
There is no comparison at all. I've gone through a number of books. I'll give you one of the reference. That the book was written by a lawyer of a Patna High Court, the S.K. Mujumdar. If you and that book is upon the Jinnah Gandhi talks, and you go through that book, and the lawyer himself accepted it, that there is no comparison between the two leaders when it comes to the rigidity and when it comes to the flexibility, when it comes to the power of negotiation, when it comes to the commitment. And there is another very important point which I'm missing, and I must say that at the time when through which we are passing at the moment, the preparation of your nation is very important. Every leader derives its strength from his nation. This is a you can say universal fact. If you do not, the basic essential characteristic of leadership is that he has his deep roots in his nation. So Jinnah Sahab prepared his nation. This is very important thing which we are missing at the moment. The charismatic leadership, it's a kind of commitment which we are not seeing in. I'm really sorry to say that.
I get your point, Dr. Shoaib Ahmed, educationist, joining us on the phone line. Thank you very much for taking time out for Views on News tonight. Really appreciate that. Dr. Zia Ul Haq, now going back to the same question, when we talk of faith and discipline, what has been your understanding the great Qaid actually meant? It seems a holistic guidance to a nation that he had built. Dr. Shoaib Ahmed was just referring to.
Actually, these three timeless values that has been made motto of creation of Pakistan: unity, faith, and discipline. Unity is indicating the Qaid was believing unity in diversity. This is the reason that all ethnicities, Pakistan is a diverse country. It is coming from diverse communities. There are Punjabis, Sindhi, Balochi, Bengali, Pashtun, and Baloch. They were all united under one leadership, and every one from them was claiming that Qaid is his leader. Qaid is his leader. So he has the capability to unite diverse ethnic groups under his leadership. Similarly, when Qaid is saying faith, no doubt majority was demanding this homeland because of separate religion. This was not the only reason. The majority was claiming, it was the demand of the minority. Among the minority, the biggest majority was of the Muslims. Even non-Muslim Christians and Baha'is and other minorities, they were also demanding that we should have separate homeland other than the majority, because otherwise majority will continue to rule us. So Allama Iqbal was, Qaid-e-Azam was promoting faith. Again, as a Muslim, we have to follow our faith. If someone is Christian, he has to follow his faith. If someone has an other faith, he should follow his faith. Faith, the community, Pakistan should be a community of the faithfuls. It is not necessary that Pakistan should be a community of only Muslims. And there are many speeches of the Qaid-e-Azam, and there are many speeches in the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan which are indicating what type of community and what type of society will be in Pakistan. So Qaid was...
Does that also indicate, is it also indicative of that inter-religious harmony?
Yes, yeah, he was believing on religious pluralism. And he was believing that religious communities can live together peacefully while practicing their own religion. This is inbuilt in the Constitution of Pakistan. This is inbuilt in the legal framework of Pakistan. And I still feel there is not a big challenge in Pakistan, in spite of many difficulties. Interfaith harmony we are achieving interfaith harmony, and we can easily move towards more interfaith tolerance, interfaith respect, and interfaith coexistence. I think we need to move from tolerance to coexistence, and that is also inbuilt in the Qaid's motto of faith. And it is not only just faith on the religion, it is faith on the destiny of the nation. It is faith on the bright future of the nation. It is faith even today, when we have the catalogue of success and weaknesses of Pakistan, we will find socially, in living standard, and in the overall well-being of the people, we are far ahead from our neighbors. We are far peaceful from our neighbors. But it was not just only that we should far ahead. Qaid-e-Azam had created Pakistan. It is inbuilt in the objective resolution that Pakistan should lead, and it should be a wonderful country in the community of the nation. And the third point is discipline. Whenever Qaid met with the students in Islamia College Lahore, in Islamia College Peshawar, anywhere, when he was talking with the leadership of the Muslim Student Federation, he was telling them that the most important task that you have to do is discipline. Once Qaid-e-Azam went to Islamic College Peshawar, I think it is in 1948, and the students came to welcome him. There was some harbong in that welcome ceremony. Qaid asked them, be disciplined. We like to have a civilized Pakistani nation. We are lacking that.
That is exactly the point. Now, when we talk of this particular term, discipline, majority of the time it is associated with discipline in the educational institutions. One example that you've just referred to of that particular ceremony. Now, what about the overall social life, the economic affairs of the country? How important that discipline is when it comes to both of these aspects? What sort of an impetus or a force or a driving force this particular term discipline give to the social fabric and the economic institutions?
Yes. Okay, I would like to tell you that the discipline is actually starting the process of civilization. The process of civilization, to become a civilized individual, to turn and transfer society in a civilized society. It is our responsibility. You know, Qaid-e-Azam and Allama Iqbal both were believing that India is historically divided into Hind and Sindh. So Pakistan is on the footstep of the Sindh civilization, and we have footprints of ancient civilization. So why we should not have the demonstration of the modern civilization in Pakistani society? We should have clean cities, we should have hassle-free traffic, we should have no encroachments on the roads. These are all included in discipline. And our parks, our cities. Islamabad is a beautiful city, one of the beautiful cities in the world. We are keeping it clean? If you go to Faisal Mosque, you can see around what type of garbage we are throwing on the lawns and how we are destroying our own property. These things are indicated.
It starts from the very basics, from our routine life to the very highest aspirations as a nation.
We have to start it from the primary school. We have not to wait others to come and clean our home. We have to learn that it is our responsibility to clean our home. And we have to teach that civilization everywhere. In the mosque, we have not to forget that it is half of Iman is in cleanliness. Alhamdulillah, I'm proud that individually you will find Pakistanis best, neat and clean. Their dressing, their personalities, everything. In everything you will find them. They are very neat and clean. But unfortunately, we are not extending that neatness to our environment.
So there is a lesson to be learned from
that.
There
is a lesson to be learned.
Right.
And we have to make in this process of discipline also, There's Qaeda has given us vision that how we have to look after the non-Muslims, how we have to look after the children of the nation, how we have to take care of the female. Can you imagine in that time when it was very difficult for the female to come out from the homes, it was the leadership of Qaeda that attracted to the female, and female came out for the creation of Pakistan. So Pakistan is the outcome, in my opinion, someone can differ with it, but Pakistan is the outcome of an inclusive struggle. And this is the way forward for prosperous and dignified Pakistan, for the future of Pakistan.
Right. Mr. Mial, now this particular term discipline, how it is intertwined with how the social fabric evolves, gets its origin from, evolves, and then ultimately functions.
I mean, if we just look at the current scenario, I would say that guide revision, still it's a complete package for our youth, because now, I mean, it's a fact that we have got data-driven aspect in this, that we've got so many youngsters. If we could just put them on track, they are going to play a very important role. So from Qaed's vision, we can just get, and this is a kind of complete package for the youngster, and through this platform, I want to communicate on this day, especially to the younger generation who are at different stages, for example, at colleges and universities. What Qaed said in those days, for example, number one is just to work on your economy. Never ever compromise on your education. So education is going to play a very important role, because it is going to provide you a kind of awareness about things. It really develops you. It makes you disciplined, because you get to know different aspects of the things, of realities and all aspects. So now, keeping that vision in our mind, we can say that if students, like right now, people are just going to different universities, different institutions, just to get the degrees and all that. Now, in 21st century, we have got certain reality that are staring us in the face, that if we are not going to make ourselves skilled, these especially youngsters, they will not be able to play their part very actively in the economy of the nation. So from there, they can just get all the lessons from Qaed's life, that when it comes to discipline, well, it plays a very important role in your life. It also affects your country as well. It affects almost every aspect of the life. So, I mean,
Point well taken. Unfortunately, we're short of time. There are a number of other aspects to be discussed for this particular show, but let's specifically talk about that very vision of Qaed regarding as to the rights of minorities. Let me quote him: you're free to go to your temples, you're free to go to your mosques or to any other place of worship in the state of Pakistan. You may belong to any religion, caste or creed. That has nothing to do with the business of the state, unquote. Already Dr. Zia Ul Haq was of the view that this particular concept of the minority rights or the interfaith or interreligious harmony also is embedded in that very term faith. What's your understanding, especially given the fact when we talk about the neighbor on our eastern side, the kind of treatment which is being meted out to the minorities over there in India? Don't you think it was the great vision of the great Qaed that he saw beforehand what could come for the Muslims if Muslims of the subcontinent won't get a separate homeland? This sort of persecution, this sort of discrimination would continue to happen with all the Muslims, as it is happening, as the entire world is witnessing over there in India, especially under the BJP's rule.
Yes, exactly. I will say that Qaedism, when he developed that vision, especially where he said that we want such a country where even minorities, they will be able to carry on with all the activity, religious ceremonies, activities and all that. I think Qaed sets the tone at that stage. And Tehami Saab, right now, if we just compare, believe me, this is the best time period just to see the way Qaed foresaw that exactly, the way Hindus, they have got like certain aspect in their mind that, well, right now we have got to hoodwink and cheat and all that. Qaed foresaw, and whatever he just established at that time, after so many years, we can see the realities in both countries, how Muslims are living there, and especially on the specific occasion where they've got to celebrate their Eid and all that, and the way, they have got to see the barbarism from these extremists and all that. But in our country, the beauty is that, I mean, they're free. And if, once again, I'm going to quote that, like, the tone as well, which Qaid said, that now, if something happens in Sialkot, if it happens against minorities, if there are very minor incidents, believe me, there are so many voices. It means that still it triggers that we should.
Well,
just
a very
carry on
important, pertinent point that you just made. Unfortunately, we're short of time. Dr. Zia Ul Haq, your quick take regarding as to this particular vision of Quaid-e-Azam regarding the minority rights, the equality for them, freedom for them to visit the worship places as well, as to compare what is happening to the minorities in India, not only Muslims but also to the other minorities in India.
Minorities. Pakistan, as I told you, Pakistan is far better. We have some misperceptions, and now there has been a lot of work from all the communities to advance interfaith coexistence. Under the umbrella of Tehami Pakistan, we have also prepared another narrative, that is Sayaban-e Pakistan. Sayaban-e Pakistan is reflecting the vision of the Qaid that Pakistan is for all the communities who are living in Pakistan. They have different faiths, but they have one civilization. That is the civilization of sin, and they have one destiny, and that is strong and prosperous Pakistan in the future.
A point very well made. Professor Dr. Muhammad Zia Ul Haq, Director General of Islamic Research Institute, International Islamic University, Islamabad. Thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Mr. Malik, Asif, Mial, Educationist, thank you very much for your time also, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Till the next one, take good care of yourselves.